This is the Tree of Life, Season 27, Chapter 1. In this episode, we will be contrasting consensus shifts with a distinct consensus. In sequential substitution, called preference shifting, or a decision, we see a reverse substitution event followed by a sequential substitution event. This sees acquiescence followed by negation followed by acquiescence. In the reverse substitution event, under hierarchical priority, the lower in hierarchy acts as the incoming consciousness to the vessel of the outgoing consciousness, resulting in expression of the impulse acquiesced to. This is followed in the absence of integration by a substitution event, where negation leads to infinite recursion, which causes a consensus shift within time parsimony outside the event. That is, each choice in sequential substitution represents a distinct consensus shaped by infinite recursion. The causal reordering occurs each time one set is substituted for another within the digital structure. A context length is the distance between the two substitutionary impulses within a transitionary analog structure. We saw in previous episodes that context lengths can be restricted, thereby preventing infinite recursion, where the incoming consciousness compels acquiescence within the sequential substitution event. However, it is important to note that these relationships do not cause universal restrictions on infinite recursion, but rather reflect two domains. That is, there are some sets for which infinite recursion occurs under a hierarchy, and some sets for which infinite recursion is curtailed by the compelling of acquiescence. Non-rigid hierarchies tend to regulate context length by flipping of priority. But hierarchies become non-rigid by way of overlapping domains. If you imagine that hierarchies can be of one of 5 domains, namely, family, work, civil society, religion or media, as a general rule, then it becomes possible to see that the non-rigidity of certain hierarchical relationships is a product of conflicting or overlapping domains. Thus, the domains where infinite recursion remains possible, and those where it remains curtailed represent the lack of intersection, according to the domains of these hierarchies. Now, in Season 25, Chapter 8, we talked about how infinite recursion causes shifts in consensus beyond the bubble universe. But these shifts in consensus are distinct from the macro changes we observe via hierarchy-mediated recursion. That is, infinite recursion can cause shifts in consensus from outside networked hierarchies, or it can cause a new consensus from inside networked hierarchies. From outside, we see micro changes in consensus, such as shifts in digital media, digital. But from inside, we see shifts in real objects through causal reordering, analog. From this we can see that networked hierarchies produce channels for causal reordering which impact real-world objects along one domain. Whereas outside these hierarchies, the other domain sees shifts in digital objects reflective of historical conflicts over what is true. From this we can see that it is a difference of scale between shifts in consensus and macro changes in consensus caused by sequential substitution events. That's the end of the podcast for today.